Hey Scorpios, and welcome to your August 2017 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here, giving you hopefully a really amazing reading for your month ahead. For those of you who are subscribed, make sure that you scroll down and find the subscribe button, and you can hit the bell right to the right of it. That way you get notified whenever I upload, so to make sure you don't miss any of the exciting content that I have coming up here this month, as well as into the months ahead, because I plan on doing some really exciting new content. So wish me luck with that. But first things first, I'm here to give you guys your monthly tarot reading, and it's kind of looking unexpected to me. It's looking like I was expecting something else for Scorpio, and this is here, but it's not bad, but it's just like not really the direction that we thought we would go. So I feel like for you guys, you're suddenly being able to accomplish something you never thought you could. And you're really having to really cross your T's and dot your I's relating to that. There's an old dream that comes through, or there's an old ambition or aspiration that you're aware of deep down that all of a sudden becomes possible. And it seems like you take this really quick action to try and accomplish it, or to try to create this path for yourself where you are setting out to accomplish that goal. It's really good. It's not a bad energy that I see that we're working with here, Scorpio, but we have to make sure that we're doing it for ourselves with this kind of energy. There is something that talks about trying to please others, or like doing something for the sake of other people, also being sort of ego inspired by other people's negative actions towards you. What I mean by that is a tendency to want to do really well at something just to prove you could. And sometimes you can find yourselves in professions or paths that aren't necessarily authentic through this need to prove that you have the ability to do what you put your mind to. I feel like a big issue for Scorpio lately has been people not believing in you, or people losing confidence in you. So many people have left Scorpio's lives. Scorpio is pretty independent right now and pretty solo. It feels to me that Scorpio doesn't have many people around them who they're familiar with. So I feel like there are still people from your past that are haunting you, even though they're out of the picture. And it's like you want to project your image to be something bigger, so that they see that you were a really good person, and it's like they regret something. And yeah, it feels to me that some Scorpios are trying to do actions that make them seem like they were better than they were in the eyes of other people. So really the main idea, Scorpio, is that we have to be careful about not doing what's authentic to us just to prove that we can do what we put our minds to. That's really the main thing this month, because there's a lot of energy coming your way, but it's almost like it's too much energy. You've got two Wands energy cards in this reading that speak of having a lot of energy and being really strict with the way that you output that energy, but at the same time feeling drained. So it says to me that maybe you're not being able to channel some of the energy that you're experiencing. You really have to exercise any ability that you've gained of endurance. You have to know when enough is enough this month, and you have to know when you're pushing it a bit too hard. It's good to have a very realistic idea of what we can accomplish. I see a lot of you really trying to accomplish a lot this month. I see a lot of you really reaching for the stars, and that's not bad, but you have to really make sure that the people that are surrounding you, perhaps the people that you're employing to help you do this, or the people that you're using as contacts or references, or any kind of energetic springboard to get where you're getting, those people may not be who they need to be at this point in time. So do keep an eye out for the people around you who are helping you get to a goal, or the people that you're considering asking advice from or asking for a reference from. It seems like it's very much on you to do this, Scorpio. You have Four of Pentacles as your central theme, so it's all about like the number 4, which represents the sign of Cancer, and our ability to pull forth from within our own energy and not seek from what other people can contribute to help ignite our energetic pattern. So really search for what is authentic within you, Scorpio, that gives you enough power to do this, whatever it is you want to aspire to, and at the same time have a realistic view of what it is that you can get done this month, because I see that potentially being an issue. We don't want to set goals that are so high that we fuel any patterns of self-sabotage because we know that we can't accomplish them this month. That said, though, Scorpio, a lot can be done this month. But if things kind of don't fall into the place that you expect them to, or if you're not accomplishing things by like the specific calendar date that you set, you have to make sure that you don't just burn out and quit, because that seems to me like the biggest red flag. So as long as you can keep a steady, even, energetic temperament and let that reflect in your actions as well, you guys will be pretty much good this month. So relationships for you guys, it could be a bit of a dumb note this month. It could be a little bit non-existential. It could be a little bit for some of us, that's the case. I feel that it's a dumb note for a lot of Scorpios, especially the ones who are really pushing in the creative project or really pushing in the career field. It seems like all of your energy is there and it's not really going to be reciprocated in relationships. However, there are some of you that are still like really caught up in the spider web, or still really connected to another person, and it becomes a matter of understanding how to separate this month, Scorpios, in August. How can we detach from these really difficult relationships of the past that are no longer serving us? I don't necessarily see it as a breakup month, but things are like being decided this month. Like I feel like September will either be the month. A month from now in September, you're either going to have the breakup or the relationship is going to be very empowered. What you do now in August is very much determining even a huge life change or turning point in September, I feel. And more so than just it usually does in the present, because obviously our present is always determining where we go in the future. But this month, and this is for all Scorpios, I get this really strongly, these actions in August 2017 are very, very specifically reflected in about the next year or two. So, or you're going to be remembering things. Some of you could have like a really intense like love affair this month, and I feel that not many people are going to know about it. So whether you just aren't that open about these types of things, or whether it's something that you feel like you have to lie about, there's something there that could be trying to pull you in this month. So beware. I feel that that's a red flag type of energy for you, with the moon reversed and Seven of Swords, also the Emperor reversed and the Ace of Wands reversed. All that speaks to me of potentially an affair or a regret potentially about who we've been with or who we've experienced during this time. So make sure you know who you're surrounding yourself with this month. I sense a desperation potentially, like we need to have some kind of experience, or we need to be proven to ourselves that we have worth or that we're attractive. Be weary of those types of headspaces, Scorpio, because you usually tend to attract difficult, long-running experiences when you try to act out on that, or try to prove to yourself that you're attractive, or prove to yourself that you can do it just for the sake of doing it. Be careful of those types of things. This month is very much a long-term experience. You're setting things into place this month that will determine like the next chapter, is what I can say. And for some of you, it might be like 5 years. For some of you, it might be like 5 months. But just the next chapter of your life is being built here. Also, because you guys have had 3 of Pentacles for so long in your reading, and now you have 4 in the center, I feel like that's interesting, because 3 of Pentacles is also all about building and creating the foundation. And for me, the 4 of Pentacles is like the foundation has been built, and now we're like on it for the first time. So for some of you may have like started a new job or gotten the promotion, and now you're just into the job and understanding what that's about. Some of you may have already moved, and now you're just now settling in, and you're just now understanding like what this new environment's about, and you're sort of getting your sea legs, if that makes sense. So enjoy this period of time for that, because usually with that energy, you're not too overstimulated. Some of you are very busy in work because you've got that 10 of Pentacles, so it could be a bit reversed. It could be a bit of a struggle to be making the amount of money that you make, but it's usually a decent amount of money. So it feels like you're getting rewarded quite well for the energy that you're putting out. Any other intuitive messages for August for Scorpios? You have to make sure that you're not being controlled by somebody else. You can't be somebody else's puppet right now. The Emperor is reversed in your reading, so that could suggest that somebody is really relying on you to be good, or relying on you to do as they say. Not necessarily relying on you for something that's necessary, but relying on you to help them, or to stimulate their needs in a way that really is not imperative to your journey. So watch out for that this month as well. And then also having Justice as a major arcana card, you're seeking balance. You're seeking knowledge on whether the plans that you have for the future, that you are actually setting in place energetically, but you're wanting to see if they're real or if they're possible. So that's good. But it seems to me that you're going to get signs this month that they may not be possible. And it's like that's the roadblock for you. That's the obstacle in the sense that you have to be able to overcome that. Because I feel that any signs that things aren't possible for the future for you are brought about by an extreme like nitpickiness within you and an extreme like detail-oriented idea about how things should be, and it's very sort of status quo ideal. So be careful for that. I think a major message for Scorpio is that these goals or these aspirations that you have for your life, again, whether it's the marriage, whether it's the job or the career or the art project, whatever it is, of it getting to the ideas of it getting to the next level, you're thinking too much status quo, or you're thinking too much like this is how people do this. This is how people accomplish this goal that I've set. Therefore, if I can't pull forth on these specific building blocks, then it's just not possible. You have to find a new, more innovative way, okay? A more self-sufficient way. And it seems to very easily fall into place. So anyway, I want to go ahead and start looking at this reading for you guys from the week to week, and we'll see more specifically what it is. So in the first week, you guys have Ace of Wands reversed, rooted down by the moon, reversed. So this is where I feel that your creative passion is not coming from the right place, or you suddenly realize this in the first week. You start to realize that your energy for passion forward is coming from like secrets and lies from the past. And I feel like maybe some of you are looking at old messages or old memorabilia of difficult situations of the past, and you start to realize, wow, this is kind of like a vampiristic experience for me. I am like feeding on this. And some of you may be prone to like delete the old messages or prone to burn these old things from the past. And that's fine. It's good to do that type of thing, but it can't really be about that at the same time. You really have a challenge in the first week, Scorpio, to find a passion and a determination that doesn't so solely rely on pain, because you keep building experiences of pain through relying on pain to accomplish, right? So it's okay to adapt a mentality whereby you are not constrained by the pain of the past, and you sort of realize where you've been, and you think, I'm not going back there. I am going to explode like a firework. And that can be during this time. But there's a very difficult middle ground between that and I was so hurt by that person, and that person hurt me so bad, and I was treated terribly, and I secretly kind of loved that, or I secretly was really empowered by that. It's like if I hadn't had that really difficult experience, I wouldn't be where I am. So I sort of feel like I need to unconsciously keep manifesting that cycle over and over again so I can keep moving up and up. And this is a major part of the Scorpio condition in general. So it's not really out of character or context for you. But in order to get where you want to be right now, Scorpio, you have to be able to turn that into something new. You have to be able to turn that into something a bit more less focused on that, if you know what I mean. Don't focus on your pain, and your pain being what is like your springboard. Okay. In the second week, you guys have the Emperor reversed, rooted down by 9 of Wands. I feel that you're done, Scorpio. I feel that you're done with controlling people who've been around for a very long time. Some of you could be having a difficult relationship with your parents. The Emperor is usually a representation of the father. So some of you may be feeling very controlled by a father figure, or just misunderstood. It could be too. If it's not a father figure, it's any very dominant masculine figure in your life. It can even be women, but any kind of very domineering, outwardly spoken or outwardly manifested people who are trying to control you are representative of the Emperor energy reversed. And that being rooted down by 9 of Wands says to me that you're almost done. You're almost out of that. You're almost in a place where you can completely not be ruled by that anymore. But it's like you're coming to a place where, again, you realize, like, how much have I relied on this? How much have I needed this difficult situation to feel alive, or to feel like I could escape it, but I'm not really going to, you know, like, knowing that you won't, but knowing that you could, and sort of fantasizing about that. That's heavy on your mind in the second week, and in a lot of ways too, because the Emperor is also just representative of control in general, and structures and limitations. So with that being rooted down by 9 of Wands, it makes me feel like You're just redefining your relationship with control and your relationship with structures in relationships. And it feels to me like you come to a place where you think, I can't leave this. I can't live in a different way because this is all that I've known. Nine of Wands is representative of endurance and continuing the norm, continuing forward because we're about to get somewhere. It could be that some of you feel like you're right at the brink of being accepted by the father figure, or some of you are right at the brink of being accepted by the very domineering, controlling spouse, but you know that you're going to have to sacrifice yourself to get there. So you're sort of at that apex where you're like, do I push a little bit further? And do I also just heard that, sorry, let me finish that thought. So some of you are at the apex where you're thinking, okay, do I just push a little bit further and finally get this temporary acceptance, or do I just veer the other direction? So I just got a major sort of download of energy that some of you are really considering reaching out to a person in your past who gave you a difficult situation, because it's like you're peeking your head out, and it's a very overwhelming situation, and it's a very kind of feeling like you're between a rock and a hard place. It's like you're scared to reach out to this person because you feel like it's a win-win situation for them, and there's a very, very small window for you to be able to communicate what you need to tell them. Scorpio, it seems like there has to be a pause, or there has to be a redirection or a reformation of what this is giving you. If you reach out for them, like, are you wanting understanding from this controlling, domineering person from your past, or even your present as well? Are you wanting understanding from them? Are you wanting an apology from them? Are you wanting closure from them? Are you wanting to be held by them or nurtured by them? It seems like it's this very disturbing conglomeration of all of that. And maybe disturbing isn't the right word, but it's something that can't really exist. And it's something that you're leading yourself to believe is much more satiating than it really is. Because, I mean, let's face it, Scorpio, July was kind of a train wreck. I kind of predicted July to be a little bit easier than it ended up being. Not that I wouldn't necessarily call it a train wreck, but I feel like a lot of you were very surprised by like one specific thing that happened. Some of you may have had the breakup, but I feel like it was more so attuned to something of like being unfriended or being disconnected from someone that you didn't expect like to do that to you. Because I feel like a lot of you had an issue with like a platonic relationship, and that kind of was painful and difficult, and yeah, so I think that none of you really know how to like address that. Do you just walk the other direction? Do you call people out? Because there's been such a mentality from Scorpio, like in order to rise above something, you have to go over it. And I've always kind of lived by that, but I've myself had a question of like, is that really the way out at this point in time? Is that just going to create more conflict? Is that going to create more coping that has to be done, and healing that can never really be because of the difficult situation? So there's a lot from July, Scorpio, that you're kind of sifting through and trying to understand how to move forward. And it makes me really happy that a lot of you guys have these more inanimate ideas coming forward relating to your career, relating to your professional life, or relating to your aspirations and goals. That's a much better place to that's a much better place to Scorpio right now, is what I was about to say, but it's a much better place to focus right now, is on the things that are inanimate, because relationships, as I said, are a bit of a dumb note for you guys right now. It's just really the way that it is. And I feel that will change probably around October. But yeah, also in the second week, you could be tempted to like confront somebody, or tempted to like tell people how it is, or like really go off on somebody, because there's sort of a temper there. The Emperor could be representative of you, Scorpio, because it is a kind of Mars-Saturn type of energy, and you guys are co-ruled by Mars. So you could be taking on that place of that very domineering person, or that person who calls people out on what they do and holds everyone responsible, and makes sure that no injustice goes like unseen, because you guys do have justice there too. But do remember that the Emperor is reversed, so you have to really Again, cross those T's, dot those I's, and you have to do it in a way that's not very mean or very not very representative of how you've been confrontational in the past. Because for one, you guys don't really have the energy, it seems to me, to like have a big confrontation or to have a huge argument or blowout. And two, it seems like it's not getting you very far with the Emperor being reversed. It's like it's been done. It's like expected from you. A lot of you could be being provoked and somebody thinks that you're going to do that, and they can then be like, oh, look at Scorpio, the bad guy, being all confrontational and crazy. And that's not going to be very nice for you, because as we move into the third week, Ace of Pentacles reversed, you're down by Seven of Swords. I really feel like you guys could be being provoked by somebody, and this kind of took a turn, but that's what that's really telling me, because I really do think that the Emperor might actually be representing you guys, and representing where you would like to be. I sense that you guys really want to confront something. You guys really want to put something out there and to like tell somebody how it is, but you're sort of like sitting there and you're like looking at your nails or something, and you're like, I don't know if I have time for that. I don't know if they're worth it. It does seem like this was done, Scorpio, in one of two ways to you. It seems like this action from July, and this may not resonate for all of you. Maybe some of you had like a perfect whimsical July, but I know a lot of Scorpios who had like a really strange, like unexpected detachment happen in July. So for those Scorpios who had that, I feel like the person who did that to you expects one of two things. One, you're going to be this really confrontational figure, and they've successfully provoked you into proving like that's just how you are and how crazy you must be. Or two, they expect that you're not going to do anything, and they're just going to kind of be pushing your buttons in essence, and just like, ha ha ha, look at me, just unable to keep a promise, or unable to come through in a way that I said that I would, or going completely against my words, and look at, I can do that, I can get away with that, and you're such a powerful person, you're such a lethal weapon, right? You're that scorpion energy, and you could put me in my place, but look at me doing this and not able to, and you're not able to even do anything about it. There's that kind of action around with the Seven of Swords, like a very sort of jovial response to your pain. And people have to kind of be careful, because this is the type of thing that leads people to like get into car accidents, and leads people to wind up at the emergency room when they play with this kind of energy. So you just have to remember that, Scorpio. And maybe it's not your place to, bite into somebody or sting somebody or lurch out at somebody, when maybe the universe can handle it in and of itself. Something that's always good to remember as a Scorpio is that, yes, you are kind of born with a physical stinger as well. Every Scorpio that I've ever come into contact with has that ability to like get straight to somebody's heart and like inject poison into it, figuratively and physically. Well, maybe not physically, but Scorpios just have a way of using their words to really cause damage. But you also have to understand, Scorpio, that even when you don't do that, it still happens, because you were born when the sun was in a place that it exudes this very like poisonous karmic energy that if people choose to like shoot at, and people choose to abuse, or people choose to play with or toy with, as this energy feels like to me in the third week of August, you were born during a time when that gets concentrated, and it grows for a period of time that's hard to determine, and then it comes back tenfold to them. That's just the karmic energy that Scorpio is born under, and that will either happen whether you do it or not. And oftentimes it's better for you not to attack somebody, even though you kind of have that, it's your birthright to do that. But sometimes you get caught up in a weird ego battle when you do that, and that can actually take away from the karma that the other person receives, because you might be doing something that's not really about that. You might be proving something to yourself, or you might be actually proving something to people who've hurt you in the past by like exuding all of your conscious energy onto this one person. And that can actually make their karmic experience less concentrated, because you aren't really knowing consciously what they deserve. So sometimes the most powerful thing a Scorpio can ever do is to walk the other direction. if we think of the wild and we think of the animals that Scorpio takes residence over energetically, you know, you think of the scorpion, you think of the snake, you think of the spider, right off the top of my head. And you think of these animals and they have to like attack things, right? They have to like bite them, or they have to sting them, or they have to poison them in order to get their prey. But actually, you know, assuming that we're not really talking instincts and survival here, all of those animals have this ability to transfix their foes, and like they use their eyes and they use their presence or something to kind of like paralyze or hypnotize, right? So I get this picture. What I see of Scorpio this month, to try to explain this because it's kind of hard to articulate, I don't see Scorpio biting or stinging or touching their foe. I see them hypnotizing their foe and walking the other way, and it's like their foe, like I don't know, just say that there's like a poor vole or a poor mouse or something that's been like hypnotized by the snake or the scorpion or the spider, and like the scorpion or the snake or the spider like goes the other direction, and the poor mouse is just like standing there, and it's like hypnotized and transfixed, and then all of a sudden gets run over by a van. I feel like that type of thing is what happens. I don't feel that by Scorpio. That's kind of funny to me. I'm sorry, guys, because I see that happening for a lot of Scorpios. I don't feel that Scorpio is the one to inject the poison. I don't feel like Scorpio is the one to attack. I feel like Scorpio kind of stands there and lets this person take the jab at them, and they don't strike back, and then Scorpio walks the other direction, and as that person is kind of shocked, they just get like run over by a van, or they get and I'm talking energetically. Hopefully people don't get physically run over by vans. That's not what I'm hoping about. Or like a vulture like swoops down and like grabs it and takes it to its nest and eats it, because vultures are also ruled by Scorpio. So that's kind of funny to me, but it's also just the way that I see it. I don't feel that a lot of good Scorpio comes from you attacking people or comes from you stinging, okay? And I feel like you have the opportunity to sting or to walk away in the 3rd week of August. And it really feels, again, like to me that you need to walk away. But as a side note, you got to be careful with money as well. In the 3rd week of August, Ace of Pentacles reverse says that you could be like too spendthrift or too focused on like swiping the card or spending the money. So be careful with that. Also, people could be trying to take advantage of you for money. You could hear from somebody from your past and they're like, you cheated me out of this much money and you need to write me a check before I tell somebody this and that, or before I take you to court or something like that. Some of that could sort of be what's happening too with justice there. So some of you could be being sued, or some of you could be, people could be wanting to take you on a legal battle, but it doesn't feel victorious on their end at all. So I feel like you're fine, but it just feels like an inconvenience type of thing. The 3rd week isn't necessarily bad, but it does feel like some kind of confrontation through walking away is possible, or it feels like people again trying to provoke you. I feel like the 1st week is pretty still. The 2nd week is where the provoking might happen, and the 3rd week is where you're like face to face with your enemy, or face to face with this difficult person potentially, and you kind of have the option to either strike at them or walk away. And then the 4th week is really where like the justice is served, and where the universe sort of like puts things where it's supposed to be. But also in the 4th week, you know, 10 of Pentacles reversed, you're done by justice. You guys have to think about like, how can I, and this is kind of unrelated, but how can we accomplish these goals and do what our mind wants us to do on a budget? How can we spend less money to get what we want? How can we spend less money to power through? Think about that in the 4th week. It does seem like you can operate more cheaply. There is something in Scorpio that's very consuming of resources and money right now. So it seems like it can be really easy to spend less and to save a lot more. But I do feel like you get some kind of vindication in the 4th week, or some kind of apology. It could be maybe the person that you walk away from apologizes and says, wow, I shouldn't have put you through that. I see how I was. I'm sorry for doing that to you. You could also get some kind of retribution as well. Somebody could be vengeful, but I don't sense it as anything that's dangerous. I sense it as something that's like very skin deep, and it doesn't really even like affect you. There's also a very strong message for Scorpio to like hold back. It seems like some of you are like looking at ex's Facebook pages, or you're checking in on people, or you're like seeing people but they don't see you, like seeing people that you know with their new love interests or something. There's a need, Scorpio, for you to like not look. Again, walk the other direction. You've got to like control, because that what that does is that, just to feed back into the very beginning of the reading, that directly empowers that sense of needing pain to progress. We don't need pain to progress, Scorpio. This is one of the reasons why people villainize you and antagonize you. And if you want to continue to be villainized and antagonized, even if you're not, continue using pain to progress. And at the end of the day, you're letting go of something in August. Some of you could be telling secrets. Some of you could be opening up to somebody who's been around a long time and telling them like where you're from and how things actually were. With Four of Pentacles, there is a need to let go of something. It seems like you're carrying a load, Scorpio, that needs to be lessened, or you need to divulge something or let go. I also see maybe you're saving. Maybe that's why you're not having as much money to operate with and you're trying to budget so much, because you're trying to save a lot. Because again, some of you guys are trying to start the new business venture or the new promotion or whatever. Like, and I mean like promoting what you're doing. Not necessarily a promotion and work, although that can be too, but this energy feels to me like you're wanting to promote something that you're working on, whether it be a business or an art project or whatever, and you're needing to really save up resources for that. This is really good territory, Scorpio. This is really good energy for you. Progress through this, not through pain, like through proving to yourself that you can save all this money and you can be resourceful and you can accomplish your dreams through this slow, steady effort. Prove to yourself your worth through that, not through the pain that you can cause in others or through the pain others have caused to you. Anyway, it's going to be overall a good August for you guys. Things are going to fall into place here where they need to be. If you guys would like to book a private reading with me, you can click somewhere on the screen here. It'll be the red link. I don't even know which one it'll be yet, but I love you guys so much. You know I do. I'm your fellow Scorpio, and let's keep surviving and let's get through August, because I feel that once Jupiter gets into Scorpio, that we are going to be on a much better wavelength. So we've got to do that work to get there. It won't just happen magically. Much love to you guys. Bye.